Hello, career thought leaders. It's good to see you today. We are going to be talking about some of the latest and greatest that has rolled out on LinkedIn, or maybe will roll out eventually if you're lucky. We'll see. LinkedIn is just notorious for their haphazard and slow rollouts of new features, but we're mostly going to be talking about how things will shift and if this even matters to you and your clients. So let's dive in and I'll show you my screen and we'll look at some of the things that have changed here in LinkedIn. So I'm going to share this to you from an article by Kevin Turner. If you're not following him, I'd recommend that. Kevin Turner here, you can subscribe to his newsletter. We're going to talk about newsletters here in a minute. And this is his article, which I am showing you because I do not have these new features yet. And we'll see if I ever get them. It'd be interesting, right? I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you can see it better. Okay, so here are some of the things that have changed. The About section moving to the top of the profile. I'm not sure that that is actually a real thing because right now my About section is down because I turned on the content creator mode. And most people's About section stayed at the top the whole time. It was only if you turned on creator mode that your About section went underneath your featured section. So I'm not sure this is actually a real change, but you can pay attention to your profile and see what you think. What we do know is that the featured section has those big visuals, it pops, and now those visuals are getting a little bit more space. So you'll have 3 visuals there. If you have visuals there, you might want to keep an eye on that and see if they change size. I would say that if you're working with clients that don't have anything in this featured section, this is a big visual on your profile, and we know the power of visuals, right? So help them get something on their profile. It can be a post, it can be a video, it can be a document that they share in a post or in the featured section itself. But having something there is just such a good visual breakup of your profile. It really makes a big difference. So I would encourage you to work with your clients, any kind of client, and figure out something that they can get in that featured section. It's really important for the visual impact of their profile. So that's one thing that we're talking about here is just the increase in visuals. There we go, more visuals. So your featured section is getting more play here, and also scroll down here a little bit. You're getting rich media where you're getting 6 images that show instead of 5. We know everyone knows, right? The power of visuals and keeping people on a page. And LinkedIn is just doubling down on this by having more rich media in your profile. And those are under your experience sections. So I'll just click over to my profile here really quick. That if you're on your profile, it's right underneath each experience section where you can upload that rich media. And again, those are going from 5 to 6. I don't have any of these changes yet, so that's why we're looking at Kevin's article. Let me just drop that into the chat for you so that you can grab that if you are interested. But this has been a trend for a while, just to have more visuals in the LinkedIn profile. So as we go through any of these changes, please say hello, let me know that you're joining us, and then let me know if you're seeing any of these changes yet on your profile. We are we're going to continue to see more social media incorporate more visuals because it's so powerful and it keeps your visitors on the page. Let's look at the other new things. So there's some other new things here. You can check out the article and see. These I don't think are very material. They aren't very different. Changing volunteer experience to volunteering, it's just not that big of a deal. The experience section, let's go back up here. So the experience section now only shows 2 lines of the description instead of the whole thing. That could be big if that rolls out for everyone. So that's something I'm going to keep my eye on. We always knew that experience section was bigger. It drew the eye because it didn't get collapsed. And now that first few lines of the description is going to be really important. Rich media, maybe even more important. How could you strategically use that to draw the eye and tell a story through the experience section that you aren't going to get to tell unless people click more? And also, as I keep beating my little drum, the titles are so important. They're big, they're bold, and they don't collapse. So make sure you're using that title field there. Let's go down here a little bit. One of the other things that are changing is recommendations. So recommendations in his view is no longer showing the total number of recommendations received and given. And this is another trend we're seeing across social media, right? Kind of a get rid of the vanity metrics. So you can see mine right now on my profile where it says, let's see here, received and given. And in his new view, we'll see who gets the new view, but in his new view, those metrics are kind of going away. So it'll be interesting to see how that rolls out, but it is in line with the other trends that people don't like those, those vanity metrics, the likes and all of those things. And so we'll likely be seeing that roll out, right? Fewer vanity metrics. Does having 130 recommendations really say anything? I don't know. People argue about that. So it's not surprising that they're getting rid of those because it fits with what other social media channels are doing. So that's something to watch for. And then the last thing is actually not in the article here. The last thing is just to check your profile. And the only way that you'll know that you have this is to go into write an article. And if you click on write an article, depending on your pages, you can, some people have the opportunity to do articles from their page, but you've got this create a newsletter button. So they rolled out the create a newsletter for more people a couple of weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving. And check your profile, see if you have that. It's a great opportunity. It notifies your network right away that you are starting a newsletter. Make your first one good, because that's how people are going to decide if they subscribe or not. So really think about what your ideal target audience wants, right? You don't want everyone to subscribe. You want your target audience to subscribe. And we'll dive a little bit deeper into that feature after we launch our first one so that I can show you some of those analytics. But for right now, just make sure that you are thinking about if that's something you want to do. You can set the frequency. You don't have to do it every week. You can set the frequency and you can do a newsletter. Most people will have that. I'm guessing it's still rolling out. But let me know in the comments, do you have newsletter feature yet? Do you think you'll start a newsletter? I'd love to hear who's starting newsletters. And of course, if I get the announcement from you, I'll definitely subscribe to support you. And it's not a one-hit wonder, right? You do get that first thing where it goes out to all your connections and shows them that you are starting a newsletter. But then as you post and share, you want to share that content from your newsletter, direct people back to it, you'll get more subscribers as things go along. The other piece that we're seeing is people who requested LinkedIn Live. Like for me, I hadn't requested LinkedIn Live for my personal account for a year. And all of a sudden, I got offered LinkedIn Live from my personal account, and just tons of people are getting access to LinkedIn Live. So think about if live streaming might be an opportunity for you to connect with your audience, what a plan, have a content creation calendar day where you just think about, could this work for you? I'll say that live video for us, for me, is really helpful to stay current, to stay engaged, to build community. Those of you who come and you comment, I really love that. We get to do some interaction this way, and it's all about consistency. Anything you do in marketing is all about consistency, but live video that much more. Oh, Jackie still doesn't have the newsletter feature. Yeah, keep checking. Let us know, Jackie. I'd love to see yours when you get it and get it started. And if you have any ideas of doing LinkedIn Live, now's the time to apply, see if you can get it. And, today's the day. If you are interested in learning more about Live, I'd highly recommend Tanya Smith, who comes on and does some stuff with us. Maybe I'll have to bring her on again. You can follow her on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and she does a lot of work around how to make live video work for you and your business. So if you are thinking about it, those are some of the things to do. Oh, love the idea of live features, but don't have enough audience. So live is just like anything else. It's a opportunity to be consistent, to get out in front of people and to build your audience. So if you repurpose part of the videos, you can use it in your social media in different ways, not just when you go live. You'll notice that we share these live videos in our newsletter almost every week, either as a follow up. So here's the article, and then here's the how to video that I did. So it's not about getting people to join you live, although we always do love when you join us live. Thank you. Hi, Jennifer. I can't wait to see you go live. But it's not just about that, it's also about having those assets that then are around forever, right? They're available to people. You can send them out later, you direct people back to them. If you really want to get fancy, you download the video and cut snippets from it and use it in your social media in other ways. But the thing that going live on a consistent basis does for me is that then I have video assets. Because if I was just going to try to do video without like the accountability of you all expecting me to show up, it doesn't work as well. But if I set a schedule and I say these are the days we're going to go live, this is the schedule, it makes it more consistent, it makes it easier. It just keeps that flow going versus saying, oh yeah, I'll do video someday, right? It's really that opportunity to do that. Military subscriptions using live. I'm not sure about that. I'll research that for you, Carl. I don't know that there'd be any difference for a military subscription. You do not have to be a premium user to have the live feature. And so I don't know that there's a connection there, but I'll look it up and let you know. Comment back to you later. And yeah, Tanya is great, Jackie. And let us know, Norma, if you get the newsletter feature. Love to see your newsletter. So they're not new features, but they seem to be rolling out to more people. If you want to get these features, and who knows if there's some magic trick, but it seems like you want to turn on creator mode. So let's go back to my profile. So you want to turn on creator mode if you haven't yet, and that's this little slider bar here, creator mode in your dashboard. Yours might look a little different if you've got the new profile, but it'll still be there. Turn on that creator mode. So you want to turn on that creator mode, and then you want to make sure that you've shared some content, that you're using the features. And if you do that consistently, that might that might increase your options or your opportunity to get the newsletter. I'm not sure, Jackie. You share all the time and you're very consistent. So and Denise Bitler also shares consistently and wasn't and still doesn't have the newsletter feature. So there's not a magic to it, unfortunately, but those are some of the things that might help you get those features faster. I did have the newsletter at some point for our pages, and then that went away, which is interesting. So remember the way you see you have newsletters, you click on write an article, and I'm just going to click to my page really quick, and you'll see there's no newsletter button up here. But there was at one point, which is interesting, and it went away. So if you do have it, you might want to act on it quickly. I'm pushing it here because I haven't started ours yet, and I've had the feature for a while. So it's time. It's time. Actually, maybe watch for that. I've got a few ideas of names for my newsletter, and maybe I'll put a poll out there and see if y'all can help me choose my name. But that's where that button will show up when you go to write an article. And like I said, it was there for one of my pages for a little bit, and then it disappeared. And you never know. LinkedIn giveth and LinkedIn taketh away, right? So if you see any new other features, let me know. Love to see what you all are seeing. And if you get the newsletter feature or LinkedIn Live, I'll be watching for those. Shoot me a message, let me know, and be happy to support you in your efforts of using those new features. We are just started, and so this event started today, but you can still join us if you want to. Our social media job search strategy class. We had a great fun today just talking about how you can research the different social media channels, which I did in my live last week for a short insights. But this class is 4 weeks, really diving deep into how you use social media for job search. So feel free to join us for that. We've got our resume formatting class next week. It's a 2-hour session where we're going to go through all of the intermediate to advanced design features in resumes, columns, tables, etc. And yes, we'll talk about applicant tracking systems and what's friendly and what's not. And we're going to have some fun looking at some fresh new designs. I hope I will see you next week. If you have trends that you think we should cover, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Thank you, everyone.